All right, Virgo honey, what is going on for you? Sun, moon, rising, and Venus. This is for November. Let's see what's happening for my Virgo. Feel free to swap around the energies. As always, I could be talking to a cross watcher. So let's get going. Let's see what's happening. If you have anything in the late degrees of Virgo, 28, 29 degrees, then you are being impacted by this Pluto in Capricorn, another earth sign, but probably in a softer way than a lot of people might be. Okay. I just want to say that if you have your sun or your moon or any kind of planet at the end of Virgo, it is being activated. All right. It is being activated by that Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees. You might already know that because it's been happening for a while. So something is coming to a close. Some kind of maybe harsh lesson is coming to a close, which is awesome. Okay. So underneath is shift, truth, what, transmute, and release. This is almost like get it over with. I feel like it's been moving really slowly. Some shift has been glacial. Okay. It's really been slow. And it's likely because there is something that you just don't want to say. Or there's a truth that you kind of don't want to reveal. Like, is it really necessary for me to say this? And I feel like it's been moving slowly because of that. Because there's a reality that you're not wanting to either admit to yourself or admit to somebody else. And it's just like, why can't it just be like no harm, no foul? Why can't it just be like no big deal? Like, okay, so this is coming to a close. Let's just make it go easy. Like, let's not rub salt in any wounds. Let's not make things more difficult than they have to be. Like, and I think that there's truth to that. But I also think that it is the reason why the universe, it's almost like I get this visual of like, pull the Band-Aid off. Pull the Band-Aid off, my friend. 10 of Pentacles underneath. Here's a card that is your card. Virgo energy. 5 of Pentacles. The Gemini energy of Lovers. And the Star card of Healing. So this can be about money. Inheritances. Something about money is making things go very slowly. Maybe you're negotiating for a new job. Maybe you're moving on from another situation and you feel or you were promised some kind of big payday, and you're kind of afraid to bring it up. Like, what if it's almost like I just don't want to know if they're going to not give me this. Okay. And this also can be the end of a love relationship where you think it's going to be fine financially. And then there's this big kind of truth bomb that shows up that shows where the money is actually going to be allocated or something like that. But then we get this faster energy. This is Pluto moving into Aquarius. We've got Gemini here. Jupiter is in retrograde in Gemini. So I feel like this is about not saying something. Gemini, not saying something. If you'll notice, these two cards, air signs, we're moving into a lot of air. And these two cards have no close, right? No encumbrances. And when the cards have no close, it's basically like there's nothing to hide, right? There's nothing to hide. But I'm getting this really strong energy of a lot to hide, especially around money. It can be some kind of truth around money. Something that you need to either express, like, hey, so like I have a friend who's an earth sign, not a Virgo, but an earth sign. And they were of the impression that there was some kind of big will that their parents were leaving them a lot of money. They had this impression because it was a family business and everything. And their parent, I think it was their mother, father had passed away. The mother inherited everything. And when the mother passed away, they really saw that there was very little. And so it was kind of, everybody was on pins and needles because the mother wasn't really saying anything, but was living very frugally, wasn't like out, spending a lot of money or anything. But there was also this sense of like, well, she's being very frugal. She's being very tight with the money, but it turns out there wasn't much money. You get what I'm saying? And okay, so here's Capricorn. Yep, they're a Capricorn. So I also get the feeling of like, it's holding you back. This thing that the truth hasn't really come out about yet. Either you're holding the truth or you're kind of waiting on pins and needles for some kind of truth. It hasn't come out yet, but when it does, it's going to be you're going to have this energy of lightness, because this is the energy of being held back, especially by money or by some kind of fantasy around money, or Ace of Wands, Page of Wands. I was watching an old episode of The Big Bang Theory yesterday, and they came up with this really amazing idea. And they went to the patent office and they were all excited about how much money it was going to make them. And basically Caltech said, well, we get 75% because you're under our employ. And they were like, what? And, Howard is a federal employee because he's an astronaut, so he doesn't get anything. And so it like dashed their hopes, but at least they knew, right? Then they could make decisions based on that. But if there's this kind of like, I think it's a lot of money, or I think it's going to cost me a lot of money, or something like that, or they're not going to give me that bonus if I leave before the holidays, or whatever it is. You just need to know the facts. You need to know the truth. Okay, so Ace of Wands, the Page of Wands, this Ten of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the Sun. I see good things in the future here. The Nine of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles. So whatever you lose here, and this is almost assuredly about money. It could also be your ideas about money. So what do I mean by that? Some people have, everybody has a kind of set point, what they believe a lot of money is. Now, this can change over the course of your life, because when you're a little kid, $5 is a lot of money to go to the corner store with and buy, like, those things that were on a piece of paper that were like little candies that were on a piece of paper. I was like, woo, I love those. Or the ones that were like wax. And I can't believe 80s candy didn't kill me. So, or 70s candy, really. But that was a lot of money, right? And so as you grow up, different parts of your life, like I remember going out to dinner in my 20s and feeling like spending $50 on dinner was like, woo, wow. That was like, right? And so now I'm kind of like, that's not a lot of money for a really beautiful dinner like that. Everything is a lot more expensive now, but there's just this sense of like, what is triggering you? Like certain things you would say like, no way. Like $50 is a good amount of money to spend for dinner, and I'm not spending any more. Why should I go? What's really that all that better about that? I'm just using examples. I'm just kind of randomizing this so you can kind of get a hold of it. What's a lot of money to you? Like, what's your set point? How much money would you, like walking around money, how much money would you just blow without really thinking twice about it? It's not going to impact your ability to pay any bill. It's not going to have any, adverse impact or positive, necessarily a super positive impact. Like the first time you really spend money on technology, on a computer, it's like $1,600 for that computer. It's like, wow, it's like gold. I treat it, but if I'm, buying a book about it and it's like $4 and whatever, like I'm not treating that book like gold, because it's just not in my kind of assumption about what is a lot of money and what is not a lot of money. I feel like that's going to come into play. Like what you think is a lot of money may actually not be a lot of money anymore. That might be changing for you. What you think is not a lot of money actually becomes a lot of money. And it's like, whoa. So there's something here about an end to a way. This is the end of Capricorn. And what has been the lesson that you have learned for the past 15 years with Pluto in Capricorn, especially around money or your worth? Like a job you might have taken in your 20s, that salary, like now you look at that and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I thought that was a lot of money. And now you're like, or the other way around. You had a really sweet gig going in your 20s, and now it's like, ugh, that was a lot of money. What was I thinking? Why did I, whatever. So there's definitely a shifting of the guard here. And no matter what I want to say, what I want to make sure you hear me say is that you're going in a direction where you're accurately valuing a situation or an opportunity. You're adequately valuing yourself. So this can be about, hey, I took a job. I took a job, like, okay, I'm just going to, I don't know why this is coming up, but this is probably relevant for some of you. I took a job and I thought the salary, I did great. Like I negotiated the salary and I was like, wow, I get 150 grand or I get 50 grand or I get 75 grand or whatever it is. And someone comes along and says, that's half of what the last person earned doing that job. And all of a sudden, it's not a lot of money. That's what I'm saying to you, that you could have done the same job 20 years ago and being offered that same job is not a lot of money. Could be a lot of money in Louisiana or Kentucky and not a lot of money in Manhattan or San Francisco, right? Same kind of thing. It's all relative. And I feel like now what's happening here is you're more able to accurately determine your wealth. You know your own value now. And so this is something that is causing, I feel like some of you could be furious about an idea that you have being undervalued, or you could be overvaluing an idea and thinking you're going to make a lot of money at it. And it's like, doesn't happen. Or something like, hey, do a YouTube channel and and that's an excellent career choice, Mary Jo. Like no one said that to me, but because it's my creative passion, because it's who I am, it's good. So there's definitely something here, like a writing of this, a healing of the energy around money for you. And I love this Page of Wands and Ace of Wands. Like this is new beginnings and moving forward. Super happy that Mars moving into Leo this week. There's just this sense of happy days are ahead. And I do get the feeling that whatever happened in the past, now this doesn't have anything to do with money. It can have to do with how people valued you. And you might be getting the truth of that. And sometimes that stings, that someone isn't valuing your worth, your effort. Could be a love partner, could be a family member, could be a boss. Someone's not valuing you. And so instead of staying and stewing and being angry and then maybe getting fired, or instead of like having that experience, you decide to end it. You decide your worth and value are much more important, and you're moving forward. I feel like some of you really hold back and don't come at another person. Instead, use the energy to move forward. But this Knight of Swords has shown up quite a bit, and somebody else could be angry that you're moving on, because it's like, who do you think you are? Kind of an energy. All right, this Knight of Swords, Queen of Wands, Page of Swords, Eight of Wands, and the King of Pentacles. Wow. You are underestimating yourself. So some of you are really shifting into what you should have been doing all along. I feel like there's a sense of destiny here about your mission and purpose in life. Like just what I said about, me starting this YouTube channel in 2017, like I had no idea that it was going to be successful or that people were going to watch my videos or anything like that. I was just like, I just want a creative outlet. I just want to, you know, be in the energy of channeling. That's where I feel very grounded. I feel very alive doing it. And it just, you know, that kind of authenticity in your career is going to really benefit you. Some of you have done a job because you thought it was going to earn you a lot of money. And now you're seeing that, like, I hate this job, or this isn't really for me. But, you know, sometimes you have to do it for a while to know that if you were really interested in it, and then it's like, you know, I mean, for me, because this is earth energy, you are earth energy, but Gemini and Aquarius and Leo are much less patient with things. I feel like you let this go on for years. Whatever this is for you, I feel like you let this go on for years before you finally ended it and said, you know, this isn't for me. And I just get this real shift in energy. It's almost like I want you to really look back at the last 15 years. How have you been valuing or undervaluing yourself? How have you been showing up or not? Have you been resentful because someone's taking advantage of your kind and giving nature? Have you been resentful because I remember that, you know, I had all these years of experience in television as a producer with the network and also with local stations. And an ad agency wanted to hire me to work with the network and work with local stations and everything. I had a ton of experience doing that. I know producers. I knew how to do it. And they were really trying to lowball me because I hadn't worked in an agency. And it was also in New York. And they offered me like a ridiculously low. And I that's the first time it ever happened to me. I kind of laughed in their face. I was like, okay, which 6 roommates do I need? Are you going to put me with so I can live in New York City on that salary? I was like, you're undervaluing what this skill set can do. Because at that point, it wasn't about me anymore. This wasn't about me arguing for more money. I was just like, no, if you're going to pay somebody that amount of money, they're not going to have the level of skill that you're asking for. And I just left. I was like, you guys are out of your mind. Like they just didn't know, or they're just trying to get someone for no money. Okay. I'm sure, you know, they probably got somebody, but I'm just saying, like, this is about you saying it's not for me. And the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, I really love this when this comes out. It's like a bat and a ball. It's like, now things can move forward. Now that I have seen, I've admitted this truth to myself. I am much more valuable than what you're trying to give me. And I'm not going to take it anymore. All right, let's keep going. I want to see what you don't see coming. I'll talk more about the astrology as we go, and there's lots happening in November. So let's see where we're going with this. Link is below. If this is your reading, Virgo, I will see you over there. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.